Okay, this is an 031 AV Stihl chainsaw. It's an older chainsaw. We're going to replace the boot. There's a boot right back inside there. Let's see if we can see it here. We're going to replace that boot right there. Let's go ahead and take this cover off. This is kind of tight on this one. Just turn it counterclockwise. Make sure your choke is in line with your breather cap when you pull it off. Now we'll take the filter off. Now we have our throttle right here. We're going to have to take this little pin off of the throttle. It's small, don't lose it. It is really small. What I need to do now is take off this nut and this nut here so I can remove the carburetor. Now we'll pull our carburetor out. Down here you have a little tube that the carburetor is pushed into. All you have to do is pry out on the carburetor a little bit and it should come right out. I still have the fuel line on there. Just go ahead and pull it off. Now here's your rubber boot right here. Here's what we're trying to take off. Now what you want to do, there's a ring right here. Stick your finger in there. Take that ring out. Now what we're going to do, we're going to remove these two screws right here and this screw here and the one that's on the other side. We're going to turn the saw around, and right here you're going to take these two screws out that's holding this bar on. Okay, now that those are out, we're going to turn it back around. There's two screws in here that's going to take an Allen wrench, and you want to take these two screws here out. Okay, once you have these screws out, you can take this off. You got another screw right here. And we got one more screw that we got to take out before we can take this casing right here off. Let me zoom it in there so you can get a better look. Yeah, that screw right there. Now, let's see if we can take this casing off. Should pop right off. You don't have to take the spark plug wire or the spark plug out. This just lifts right off. It's got a little hinge piece right here. So now what we'll do, turn this around so you can see. We're going to take this boot right here. We're going to shove it back through the hole. We still have this connected down here. But that's not going to matter. My fingers are kind of big, but we'll try and get it through this hole right here. Let's see, we'll take a screwdriver and just kind of push it through there. There, that came off. It connects back in there also, but that made it a little bit easier for me. Just take the whole thing off. Now we'll turn it around here, and right here is a clamp. Take it off with a screwdriver. Now that I got the clamp loose, I should be able to just pull it off. Picture the way that the boot looks before you take it off so you get a general idea of how to put the other one back on. Take a screwdriver, put it in behind here, and you should be able to just pry the boot off. This box that we took off, the boot goes here. This hose that pulled off when I took this off, I'm going to show you where this hose connects to. When you're putting it back together, you want to hook it up right here. Just put the hose on right there. Now we're going to put the boot on. First thing we're going to do is we're going to put it back on there, facing upward. should slide right on. Okay, we got our boot back on. Now we'll put the clamp on there. Okay, our clamp's on. You do not have to get this clamp super tight. All you need to do is snug it down to where it seals the boot to keep air from getting in. Now we'll go ahead and hook our tube up and put our boot through this hole. Now that we have our hose on and the plate on, now what we'll do is we'll take, and it's easier to just squeeze your boot and force it through the hole. I'm going to use a pair of needle nose pliers. Just go ahead and grab it. And pull it on in. Now that it's on there, we'll go ahead and put our ring back in there. This will keep it from being pulled back out. Okay, what I'm going to do is I'm going to drop our casing down on there, like so. Down here at the bottom, you got to spread these little rubber pieces out and put it down inside here. You'll see once you go to put it back on. I'm going to pull this off the table a little bit. Show you what I'm doing. This way I can get this centered up real good, because I'm going to put my screws in here first and get it started. Now these here are the screws that go in. You have 2 of them. Now that those screws are tight, I'm going to go up here. I'm going to put this screw in now. And the screw that goes up here is this one right here. Okay, I'm going to put these screws in next. These 2 right here. Now I'll go ahead and put the bar back on. It takes 2 Allen screws, which I left inside the handle. Once I get these tight, I'm going to turn the saw around. I'll put those 2 screws back in here. And then we'll flip it back around. And we got 1 more screw to put in. Right there in that hole. Now we'll get our throttle here out of the way, and we're going to slide our carburetor on there. First thing we want to do is we want to hook up our gas line. So we want to bring it over here and hook it up. Make sure that this line here goes into this bottom boot right here. Little line that's sticking out. Once you put it on there, you can just push it in. Okay, now we'll put our nuts on. And we'll put our throttle right here. Throttle will go right there. Start your nuts by hand so that you don't strip them out. Okay, next is the little keyway right here. Okay, here's our clip. It's really small, don't lose it. Pop it on there. We'll put our filter on. Now we'll go ahead and put the cover back on. The easiest way to take this filter box off and put it on, or the cover, is pick it down like this and just pull it straight out. Put it, because that's why you have this groove right here. Push it in, Snap it straight on. Find your spot, lock it down.